Anthony, thank you so much for being here as always, my friend. How are you?
It was 11 days, and you can use it in a sentence, Brian. Like you could say,
True.
Kevin McCarthy lasted 24.5 Scaramucci's.
That's true, actually.
Liz Truss, you know what I mean?
Very true. Thanks
one.
for coming on, Mooch, as always. Always good to see you. How you feeling now? We're a week and a half out. You've done everything you can to help, to make sure that Trump doesn't get anywhere near the White House ever again. How you feeling? We're like 12 days out now.
Okay, so anybody that says it's a lock on either side, I don't see that because the polling doesn't show that. But the Trump people are euphoric and ecstatic. They're calling for landslides on Fox News. They're sending me these snarky messages that we're kicking your ass in and she's not running a good campaign and the Orange Maniac is running a great campaign. I don't see that. And so this is very reminiscent to me of the Romney campaign in 2012. Brian, I worked on the Romney campaign. And whatever your political persuasion is, Mitt is a normal guy and a patriot. You may not like everything he says. He certainly is not endorsing Donald Trump, but he's a garden variety Republican.
Sure.
They thought they were winning, so much so they had fireworks in Boston Harbor. And there was a heavily suited man with orange hair that walked out of the Mitt Romney party 1 hour before he was supposed to. Again, he left with Michael Cohen. That was Donald Trump. And when I said to Michael Cohen, where are you guys going? Well, Trump doesn't want to stay for the concession speech. We came up here because we thought Mitt Romney was winning this election, and that's what it looked like to us internally. So that's the Trump campaign right now. So I love that. Okay, because unfortunately, Secretary Clinton, she felt that way. Mitt Romney felt that way in 12. And I can tell you the Harris campaign does not feel that way. I was in Pennsylvania over the weekend. I was in Green Lane, other parts of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. In addition to eating cheesesteaks and clogging my arteries with them, I was banging on doors, going to events, speaking, providing advocacy, even talking to Trump supporters, see if we can move them. Lots of African-American men who are on the fence about voting. What are the key things they should be thinking about? Really pushing them, frankly, think about voting. And what I loved about that situation, Brian, is that people are nervous. People are working. She's knocked on 1 million doors. The Harris campaign, let me rephrase that. Harris campaign has knocked on 1 million doors since the convention. They're going to report over $1.5 billion raised. They just got $50 million from Bill Gates. They're well organized. They're a get out the vote situation. If you and I were doing this on July 22nd, and you said to me, Anthony, gun to your head, well, there's only one path. Should Harris get the nomination, there's only one path. That's through the blue wall, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
Right.
She's got 6 or 7 different paths now. So the Republicans imploded in North Carolina. They got the black Nazi down there. She's ahead of him in North Carolina, which is why he keeps dropping himself into North Carolina. She's ahead of him in Michigan. She's ahead of him in Wisconsin. She's tied with him in Pennsylvania. But we're all right inside the margin of error. So if you said to me, whose cards would you like to have? It's 12 days out. I want her cards. Why? Yeah. She's not. Donald Trump is running on 4 things. Okay, he's running on racism. I am a racist. He's running on misogyny. He's calling her very derogatory things. So I hate women. Okay, and also I want to take your reproductive freedoms away. Okay, and possibly your family through the reduction or the elimination of IVF. So it's racism, misogyny. It's anti-immigration. He speaks about non-white immigrants, Brian, to this country, the way the National Socialists talked about the Jews in the 1930s. And then the third thing he's running on is cruelty. The country's gone to hell, and I'm a mean SOB, cruelty, cruelty, cruelty. Okay, so maybe he can get to 46, 47, possibly 48%. Maybe that's his ceiling. He's never been able to punch through that. He's blowing this racist dog whistle very hard. she's out there working. She's not Hillary Clinton. She's working. She's
Right.
doing the work necessary to win
Hmm.
the presidency. She's got the money. She's a very nice person. Okay. And she would do a very good job as president. She's not going to bring down the international world order. She's not going to put the economy into crisis with capricious tariffs. She's not going to try to rip up the governmental system that has served the American people so well that Trump is calling for. She's not a burn down the place person, but she's a person that wants to get us into the future. Now, what I said to them, and I'll just talk for one more minute, I'm sorry, but I said to them, you got to give a speech, a 2047 speech. He talks about Project 2025, which is basically the rise of fascism in the United States. It's basically what it is. If you look at the manifesto, I've suggested to them they talk about Project 2047. Why that number? That's 100 years after Jackie Robinson crossed into a baseball diamond and became a professional sports athlete in American baseball, but it paved the way for the Civil Rights Movement, the Civil Rights Voting Act, Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King told Muhammad Ali, without Jackie, I don't get anywhere. Barack Obama has said, without Jackie, I don't get anywhere. Without Martin Luther King Jr., I don't get anywhere. And she is a descendant of that baton pass.
Right.
It's Robinson to King, King to Ali and Obama and Biden, frankly, to Vice President Harris.
Yeah.
And what do you want the country to look like? Do you want Project 2047, where we're unified, we're less racially divided, we're more united, the United States of America, flatter, equal opportunity for everybody? No, she says she's a pragmatic capitalist. No equal outcomes, but equal opportunity for people. Let's get people to the starting block to excel in our country. Or do you want to go back to 1947?
Yeah,
Trump,
no, good point. Good point. If you're just joining us. Yep, go ahead.
What's 1947? So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be long-winded, but
no, you're good. I love listening to you, Mooch. And unlike CNN, I give you more than 1 minute to talk. So that's a good thing.
No, I love you for that. I feel like I'm talking like a New Yorker rapidly, but
I like that. I like that because you're a true New Yorker.
I want you to know what I'm thinking, and I want you to know what I'm sharing with the campaign. Mm-hmm. And so we've raised the money. We've knocked on doors. I am doing radio. You're in a swing state, so I am doing radio in Wisconsin, Michigan, doing local news. Brian, I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad watched the local news. Why? He had to go work outside. He was checking the weather. So if I can get 1 or 2 minutes on local news to advocate her positions and why she's better for unions, why she's better for wage growth, why she's better for a reduction in the deficit as opposed to an explosion in the deficit, I got to get that message out there. And if we can turn a few people, I think it's that close of an election. I would love to tell you that this was 2020 and Joe Biden's going to win the election quite handily. But it's not 2020. This is a different election. She can win it. I'd rather have her cards than his cards. And I like the fact that they're nervous. If I came back from Pennsylvania and said, these people are so smug, Hillary was smug. I'm just not picking on her, but the secretary.
I agree.
They were very smug. Everything's baked into the cake. Don't need to go to Pennsylvania. Don't need to go to Wisconsin. One trip to Michigan. You know what? We'll call into Nevada. You can't win the election like that. She's doing the work. Now, one last point on this. He did something that I liked. Okay. And I, dislike him. And I've had long conversations with John Kelly about his fascist tendencies. Right. But the McDonald's thing worked for him. Okay. And a lot of people think my other podcast colleagues on The Rest is Politics think it didn't work. I think it worked because I know the voter he's trying to attract because I worked on his campaign in 2016. And so what would work for her, though, in my opinion, is the soaring speech. Obama gave it after Jeremiah Wright in March of 2008. Jack Kennedy gave it in Houston. People said, well, he's a Catholic. He can't be the president. He gave a speech and said, I'm a Catholic. I can be the president. Well, he's a black man. He can't be the president. Obama gave a speech. I'm a black man. I can be the president. I'd like her to give that speech. I'd like her The people have pushed back and they said, well, Hillary tried to give, I'm a woman, I can be the president. It didn't work. Okay, but that was Hillary.
Right.
This is Kamala Harris. She's a different politician with a different personality.
Yeah.
And she knows how to grow a tent. I mean, if Bernie Sanders, Liz and Dick Cheney, and Anthony Scaramucci are walking into the same bar, Brian, that tells you that the person knows how to build a tent, right?
Yeah,
So,
no, that's a really, really good point.